Hello, everybody. It's me, Colton, with Colton's E-Ticket Adventures. Today, I just wanted to go through the entertainment panel for D23 and talk about some of the projects that were talked about, announced, and shown. So, let's dive right in. But before I dive right in, please, if you're not already, subscribe to this channel, share with your friends, and stay tuned for more Disney-related content. D23 is an event where they announce new projects, including movies, TV, video games, all sorts of Disney-related projects, and also theme park-related projects, which I will hopefully have like a part 2 of this video talking about that. So, the first of these projects that was talked about today in D23, or whenever this video is released, was Moana 2. And part of that, they released a trailer and showcased what the film is about. So go check that trailer out. I'm actually pretty excited about this movie. Moana is one of my favorite modern Disney films, and I love the Polynesian culture of everything to do with Moana. So I'm excited to see where they take this film. The animation looks beautiful. And so I'm excited to see how this story plays out. The next one, a little brief, but Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson announced that with Disney, he will be part of a Monster Jam film produced by Disney. So there wasn't really much details beyond that, but seems pretty interesting. The next thing, which I am beyond excited for, I loved the Avatar and Avatar: Way of Water, and they announced that that movie will be titled Avatar: Fire and Ash, and it will explore different parts of Pandora that we haven't experienced yet, in the different cultures and peoples of Pandora, and I love the direction that it's going. It will release in December of 2025. Also, Moana will release this November. The next thing they talked about in the Pixar panel portion was the announcement for Toy Story 5, which will hit theaters in 2026. At first, I felt a little bit skeptical of this movie, but they did mention that they wouldn't create this movie if they didn't have a compelling story. Andrew Stanton, who did movies like Finding Nemo, will be directing this, and I'm pretty confident in this film. They kind of shared the premise of what this film is going to be about with this concept art and showcasing an idea that I actually really like, with Bonnie sort of becoming an iPad kid, and how technology plays a role in a child's life compared to how toys are. But I'm excited to see how this will be shown. Another thing they mentioned was malfunctioning Buzz Lightyears, which pulls from a lost version of Toy Story 3. So I'm excited to see how that's going to go. They also mentioned Win or Lose, which is a long-form TV series for Pixar that will be released on Disney Plus in December. I don't know too much about it. They did release a trailer. I think it has something to do with soccer, so I'm excited to see how that one goes. The next thing they announced, I don't know if this is going to be shorts or a full series, but it's Dream Productions. It's a spin-off of Inside Out, and it dives into the studios that creates Riley's Dreams. And it's said to take place between Inside Out and Inside Out 2. So I'm excited to see how that one goes. Another one they announced is the new original film, which I love when Pixar announces original films. This one's called Hoppers, and it will be about a beaver with I don't know the full premise, but there's a kid takes over this beaver, or robot beaver, I don't know. I just saw something. I think it's cool that Pixar is still doing original films, and I'm sure this one will be fun. They also mentioned Lilo, which will release next summer. This one was supposed to release this year, but due to the strikes last year, it was pushed back. But I'm sure they put so much work into it. This steel that they shared is so beautiful with all the colors. It kind of reminds me of Lilo and Stitch, but we'll get to that in a second. Another one which sort of surprised me, and I was kind of floored by this announcement, was the announcement of Incredibles 3, which I love Incredibles, the first one, and Incredibles 2 is really fun. But the only way I feel like Incredibles 3 will work is if they had some sort of a time gap. Maybe have Jack like 5 or 6, and we'll go from there. But we'll see how this one goes. They didn't really share a release date, but I'm sure they will in the future. The next is the Disney animation films that they talked about, one of them being Zootopia 2, which I'm actually super excited for this, and I feel like it's one of the ones that actually has potential to warrant a sequel. And something super cool about it is Ki-Hu Kwan will be playing a snake. So if you've seen the first Zootopia, it only focuses on mammals, but I'm sure the world's bigger, and so it's cool that they're moving in a direction to showcase different kind of animal species. So that's going to be really fun. Another one they mentioned, and they actually pushed back the release date for, is for Frozen 3. They didn't fully really share much except for concept art for the film, but this will release in 2027. And here's the concept art. We see like an astral kingdom in the sky, which I'm sure that's where Elsa now lives after the events of Frozen 2. And then there's like this dark shadowy figure, which I think it's going to be a Viking, and I think that's just its shadow, but I will find out later in the future. They also talked a little bit about the Broadway, Disney on Broadway, which I adore. I love me some stage musicals. But they announced that the Frozen musical will be getting a filmed version that will be on Disney Plus next year. I don't know whatever happened to the Aladdin filmed version, but I hope it does come to fruition. Another thing they announced was Hercules, the electrifying new musical. This will be going to London's West End, so that's going to be exciting. Another thing they announced, which I'm a little bit intrigued, but The Greatest Showman's not my favorite movie in the world. I'll probably do a review on my other channel, but I'm excited to see where a full-length musical of this will be, and maybe Hugh Jackman will return for this role. Another thing they talked about when it moved on to the Lucasfilm was Skeleton Crew, which from the looks of it looks like it's going to be like Goonies, but in space, which interesting concept, and I'm excited to see how it goes. They also talked about Andor, and it's going to have director Krennic from Rogue One, which is a phenomenal villain, and I'm excited to see that. Season 1 of Andor is honestly one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars, so I'm very excited how this one's going to go. Another thing they mentioned was the next theatrical release for Star Wars, which will be The Mandalorian Grogu, which that will release in summer of 2026. That year is going to be a big year for movies. They also released a little clip for the Fantastic Four cast. They recently started filming, so they weren't there in person. But just look at Johnny Storm's outfit. I think it is spectacular, and if I say so myself, fantastic. They also released a clip of the Red Hulk for Captain America Brave New World. I'm excited for this. I'm a huge Marvel fan, but I think this one's going to be pretty good. They also mentioned Daredevil Born Again, and they also shared a trailer for the new Agatha All Along TV series, which releases next month. Okay, now here's some of the things I was most excited for. And you'd think I'd be excited for the Star Wars or the Marvel, but the things I'm most excited for is what's truly Disney. So they released the trailer and a poster for Snow White, which releases March 21st, 2025, starring Rachel Zegler. At first, I was very skeptical of how this movie was going to be. But from the looks of the trailer, I think this is going to be a beautiful film. Snow White's one of my favorite Disney films, and I feel like this is going to live true. Another one that was fun that they brought up is Freaky Friday 2, because it has an official title, which will be called Freakier Friday, and that will star Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, which will also release next year. But out of anything that they announced that I am most excited for, which honestly lines up perfectly with my other video on my other channel that I released, is the live action Lilo and Stitch. This is one of the most anticipated Disney live actions. I love Lilo and Stitch. It's one of my favorite Disney animated films, and I'm excited for this live action. But the awesome thing about this, it was originally gonna just be a Disney Plus release, but they're gonna actually be releasing it in theaters next summer. So I'm excited. Like, it's gonna be fun. They also brought up Tron Ares, which also releases next year. I love Tron and then Tron Legacy. I grew up on Tron Legacy. It was one of those movies that I remember seeing as a kid, but I think it's going to be pretty interesting. So, and then the one last thing before I finish this video is they released a new trailer for Mufasa the Lion King, and I think this film looks beautiful. The music's going to be done by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is famous for Hamilton. He also did the music for Moana and a few other Disney projects. But I'm excited for all these projects. I love Disney, hence why I created this channel. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you tell me what you think about some of these films or TV series. And yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow or Sunday, where I will be basically doing the same thing, but for the announcements of the Disney Parks panel. So thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Have a wonderful and magical day. Bye.